The Wonderful Adventures of Thomas the Tank Engine, Episode 25, Rocky and the Rocket. One morning on the island of Sodor, Rocky and Bear were removing the turntable walls near the yard, so they could put in some new ones. Alright, Rocky, said Bear, let's go. Two left with the turntable walls. Meanwhile, at the sheds, Donald, Douglas, Luke, Duncan, and Renee, and Flora were having a nice conversation. Just then, however, trouble rolled in. Trouble in the form of Stafford, Norman, and Sydney. Well, what do we have here, Stafford? I don't know, Norman. What do you think, Sydney? Yeah, that's just what I was thinking. A bunch of steaming, doing no work, and therefore being useless. Hey now, show some respect here, said Douglas. And why would we want to show some respect to Norman? That would just be wrong. Yes indeed, said Stafford. There are two ways of doing things. The wrong way, or the way that isn't the Great Western Way. Hey now, said Duncan. You can't go saying that. That's Duck's line. Oh, whatever, said Stafford. Oh, Stafford, said Douglas. You're a muckle nuisance. It's to teach you a lesson I'd be wanting. We electric shunters don't need to be taught anything, said Stafford. We are revolutionary. Och, are you, said Donald. You're nothing but a screeching and a noise when all's said and done. Spike Ducky, would you? Take that. Ow, 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 cried Stafford. There's more coming, should you misbehave, said Donald. We're done here. Come along, Stafford, said Norman. No use in hanging around with these Caledonian twits. And Stafford, Norman, and Sydney rolled away. Caledonian twits, said Luke. The nerve of that diesel. Yes, said Renee. Dennis ought to be ashamed to be Norman's brother. Like Dennis could even care, said Duncan. Whatever, said Luke. Let's just forget about what just happened and get back to our conversation. And so the engines did that. Meanwhile, James, Emily, Ferdinand, Murdoch, Jack, and Butch had gathered at the docks. A new engine would be arriving. This engine was originally property from the mainland, but the Tom had managed to strike out a deal with the mainland, and this engine was now property of Sodor. Just then, Bolster arrived with the engine. Cranky put the engine on Murdoch's flatbed. The engine was broken and rusty, but it would soon be taken to the steamworks to be fixed up and made into a really useful engine. James backed out of the way, and Murdoch set off for the steamworks. Murdoch soon arrived, and the new engine was removed from the flatbed, and the steamworkers set to work restoring the new engine. Oh, hello there, Russ. You seem like you had a rough night. Well, yes. There's kind of two things going on with me. One, I'm feeling a little bit homesick. Well, I would beg to differ on that. From what the end engines tell me, you came from the other railway, and you barely managed to escape when it was taken over by diesels. Yeah. That is true, but I just feel homesick for that place back before the diesels took over. Well, yeah, I'm sure it was a nice place before those guys came along. You want to know about this other thing? Well, sure. Well, okay, said Russ. You ever have one of those dreams where you feel like it's so real? Well, yeah, I've had plenty of those. Well, I've had one of those recently, and it's kind of beginning to haunt me. I'm worried that things are going to happen. Big things. Like what? Said Logan. Well, I can't give any specific details, said Russ. But, well, they're just things that aren't good for Sodor. Oh dear, that's all I need to hear, said Logan. Now, Logan, I know I'm not that good with making friends, but since the day I found you, you've been the closest friend I've had. So can I ask you to do something for me, and you can keep it a secret? Well, I guess I could, said Logan. Just keep an eye out for anything suspicious. Oh, I can do that easily, said Logan. Thank you, Logan, said Russ. Alright, enough lollygagking, said Logan. We should be making ourselves useful. I just heard from Flora that Stafford, Sydney, and Norman insulted the engines of the sheds earlier today for doing nothing, and we don't want that happening to us. No indeed, said Russ. Come on, let's do some work. Hours passed, and finally, the steamworks have finished restoring the new engine, and the new engine set off to work. The new engine rolled very slowly down the track. He wasn't built for speed. He stopped by the sheds, but the engines were gone. What bothers the new engine? I was hoping I could have someone to talk to and introduce myself to. Just then, two engines raced over the bridge. Oh, hello there. My name is... Oh, well, they were in a hurry. Just then, the new engine heard an engine coming. It was Gordon, and he was coming up fast. Oh no, cried the engine. He tried to go as fast as he could, but it wasn't that fast, but he managed to get into a sign just in time as Gordon thundered past. But the new engine couldn't put his brakes on in time, and he accidentally went off the track. Whoops, said the new engine. Just then, Caitlin was passing by with Rocky. She saw the new engine and stopped. Hello there, said Caitlin. You look like you could use a hand. Don't worry, Rocky here will help you out. My name's Rocky, said the crane, as you probably already just found out. What's your name? My name's Steven, said the new engine. But I'm also called the Rocket because I used to be so fast back in my day. Just then, Spencer pulled up to the junction. Excuse me, he said, you're blocking my way. Caitlin sighed and began to reverse out of Spencer's way. As the points changed, Spencer looked over at Stephen. And who are you supposed to be? Said Spencer. Spencer should have recognized Stephen, as Stephen came from the mainland. He had been used as a display engine at the National Railway Museum, but since Stephen had been restored and repainted, Spencer didn't recognize him. You can just call me the Rocket, said Stephen. I'm called that because I was so fast back in my day. Back in your day is right, said Spencer. Oh, you don't think I'm fast now, said Stephen? Yeah, of course you're not fast, said Spencer. Well then, said Stephen, how's about the two of us just have a little bit of a race then, just to see who's the fast one? Okay, said Spencer. Where should we race to? How about, Toby's Windmill, said Stephen. Alright, said Spencer. Stephen switched lines, and he and Spencer got ready. Alright, said Caitlin. On your mark, get set, go! And Spencer raced away quickly. Stephen, however, didn't move. Stephen, said Rocky, aren't you gonna go after him? I can't, said Stephen. Spencer's way too fast. I haven't seen him in such a long time that I forgot how fast he could go. I can't go as fast as him. I don't know what I was thinking. Don't worry, said Caitlin. We'll help you win that race. First things first, we need a flatbed. Just then, Sydney came down the line pushing a cargo car. Perfect, said Caitlin. Hey, Sydney, can we borrow that cargo car? Sure, said Sydney. I don't even remember what I was gonna use it for. And Sydney hurried away. Caitlin pulled Rocky over to where Stephen was. Rocky picked up Stephen and placed him on the cargo car. Caitlin then uncoupled from Rocky, switched lines, and coupled to the cargo car. The workmen secured Stephen, and Caitlin rushed away quickly. Further down the line, Spencer was approaching Toby's windmill. He rushed in and screeched on his brakes. The noise was like fingernails on a chalkboard. The engines were not happy to see Spencer racing in like that. Well, said Spencer, I don't see any yellow engines around here, so I guess that means... Oh, there you are, Spencer, said Stephen. He was under Toby's windmill. What took you so long? How did... Spencer couldn't get the words out, but he could admit that he had been defeated. The engine started to laugh at Spencer. Spencer puffed away sadly and very cross. Nobody noticed Caitlin hiding in the nearby tunnel. That evening, Stephen thanked Caitlin and Rocky for their help, and they spent the evening talking away like old friends, or in this case, new friends. Ah, Sydney, there you are. Did you put the cargo car in the intersection at Crosby like I asked you to? Oh, you mean the yellow one? Yes, the yellow one. Oh, yeah, that one. Well, actually, Norman, I gave it to Caitlin. She asked if she could borrow it for something. What? Sydney, you actually did something for the steam engines? Well, I couldn't even remember what I was supposed to be doing with it, said Sydney. Why was I going to put a cargo car on the intersection of Crosby? Because, if you must know, Den and Dart here overheard Russ and Logan talking about something. We're worried that they're growing suspicious of something we could be up to. So, we need to put them out of commission so that they won't spread the word to the other engines. Oh, yeah, those plans we have planned out. Yes, and apparently you couldn't carry out your part of the plan, said Norman. Just then, the Diesels heard a whistle. Pardon me, Diesels. What do you want, Spencer? I want to talk to you about your future plans. Oh, yes, our future plans.